My name is Warvis Paradox, aka Dox Brando, and I would like to welcome you all back to Warvis Reviews. Today's episode is called Welcome to the Dream Parade, and that's because it's a play on the three reviews that I have lined up for you all. Before that, I want to, give y'all some insight about what I'm thinking, how I want Warriors review to move forward, and that is by at least watching at least two movies and giving y'all two reviews a week. And one will be newer and one will be older, and it's just giving you more contact to hear from me about certain films and how they impact the culture or whatnot, or just to give me something to speak about, as well as just to make me want to dive deeper as a movie watcher, because that's definitely movies I haven't seen that are classics, quote unquote. So I know I have to do better, and this is what's gonna motivate me to want to watch more and more movies. The other thing I want to do per week with these reviews is maybe have an album review that to do, and these albums will either be new or old. It kind of just depends on how I'm feeling. So if it's something I just heard, even though it may be older, at least 30, 40 years old, or even something that just came out that I missed last year, these are things that I want to get into and provide content for, because I think these reviews for me are was gonna be the bread and butter. So I need more content to give to y'all, and hopefully it's gonna be highly entertaining for you all to listen to. So, with all that being said, let's get into it. Now, the first review of the day is 2006's The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. Now, many of you might be shocked by this, but I just listened to this for the first time this week, and I know what where some of you are saying, like, Docs, how have you not heard this album? This was my middle school. This was my emo era. Just how could you? And it's a very simple answer. I didn't really grow up with rock being played in the house. I heard hip hop, R&B, soul, funk, etc. No country, definitely not no country. But the only person that could enlighten me about this type of music with rock was my older sister, and she was already out the house by the time I could have been receptive to it. So I was really just going alone, and of course, I've heard songs from games and movies, but I never really dug deep to find these artists on my own. It wasn't until 2018 that I began searching and listening to more rock music, and now I absolutely love the genre, just as much as the other genres I was, raised on. Just to give you some insight, I love System of a Down, Linkin Park, Rage Against the Machine, Nirvana, Deftones, as well as some older bands like Metallica, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, and Led Zeppelin. But if you want to recommend me some albums or artists, please comment below. I would love to give them a spin, and maybe your album can lead to a possible review. Who knows? But back to the review at hand of the Black Parade. This album is both timeless, but also of the times, and I mean that in the sense that the some of these songs, feel like brand new and something that you could just play right now and can just kind of just slide into the niche. But in other cases, it definitely feels like it was made in 2006. So it's a kind of a crazy paradox to listen to, but it's definitely still great music. The album was created with the concept of being that of a rock opera, and I don't know if any of you know the actual definition of opera, so I looked up, and an opera, as defined by Merriam-Webster, as a drama set to music and made up of vocal pieces with orchestral accompaniment and orchestral overtures and interludes, and that is exactly what you're getting from My Chemical Romance on this album. They're using rock music in place of orchestral accompaniment, and the Black Parade tells the story of the patient and him going through, his memories and him battling the fact, death is near because, he's going through cancer. And it's just a very cool and it's a very cool concept. But the problem that I saw with listening was that I don't really feel that it tells the story that well. This album doesn't really take away from the album. Don't get me wrong, but there are some tracks that do tell some of the story well, and I can get a feel from those certain songs. But the rest, it kind of just like feels like it's just good music. I just listen to the album and don't really think about it, but like it doesn't really hit me like it does, like it's supposed to. But no, maybe I should just stop with all that and get further into the songs that got my attention, or just go through like the track list. Let's start off with the intro track, The End. This is a great opener. It sets the tone for the album so stupendously. It's just a minute and some change, but it's so good that I wish it was just a tad bit longer. I understand why it's so short, because it immediately transitions to the next track, Dead, which is a bombastic and upbeat song. Uh, the song is kind of funny and without context, because, well, it's funny to me because, It's very upbeat and it's like in your face, and it sounds like a fun tune, but the song is literally about death. It makes the death of the patient feel like it's a comedy. Everybody's kind of joking along, and the laugh track is going on, but like no, he's really on his deathbed. It's kind of crazy, but it works. And then Following Dead is the track. This is How I Disappear. This song had captivated me as soon as it started. The beats from the drums and the riffs from the guitars are in such sync that it's spectacular to hear on track. Then you hear the song The Sharpest Lives is a great follow up to This How I Disappear. The production is just blaring with the emotion of the whole song. And with these two pairing, it's just like a perfect runway for the lead. This leads into the title track, Welcome to the Black Parade. And this is the only song I've heard before listening to the album, and that's because of my coworkers at work were playing it and just singing along. And I didn't know it, but I knew it definitely sounded good, and that's what sparked my interest in listening to the album in general. Now, throughout this whole album, you could definitely tell that there's Queen influence, and they have gone on record to say that yes, they were definitely inspired by Queen. But this song in particular feels like it greatly admired Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, there's levels to this song, and the longer it goes, it grows in grandness. The riffs feel so close to riffs from the Queen songs that it's astonishing to hear. So with that being said, My Chemical Romance went on a 5-track run to start off the album very, very strong. And at this point, it starts to decline just a little bit. And it's no fault of them, but when you have a song like Welcome to the Black Parade so early in the section of the album, it's hard for the other songs to compete. Mind you, I don't think that there are any bad songs after it, but man, Welcome to the Black Parade feels like a closer track. No song after it can match the energy it produced. Even though I like songs like I Don't Love You, which is the first song that is a bit slower on the album. And then the next track, the bounciness of House of Wolves, is very fun and kind of addictive. But there are poor saps that had to follow up the Welcome to the Black Parade. But songs like Cancer and Sleep are eerie but very enjoyable. These songs are some of the few that I were talking about earlier that kind of bring light to the story to remind you, oh yeah, this is an opera. This is about the patient. This is him, facing death. And Welcome to the Black Parade was the whole theme of the song was, him seeing death come in the form of the best memory he had, which was seeing a band perform. And those are the songs where it's like, okay, this song is really the album has a concept, but like it just didn't connect with me at certain times when songs were playing. And then in between those songs, between Cancer and Sleep is the song Mama. And the more I listen to it, it's not a bad song, but if it I'm not gonna put this on no playlist, or I would not want to listen to it without listen to it in the aspect of the album. It's not a bad song. It's just like it's kind of meh, not in a bad way. The next song that to highlight that I enjoyed was Teenagers. It's a very fun song with energy that makes it stand out compared to the rest of the second half of the album. Disenchanted is also on the slower side, but it leads me to feeling that the album is about to end, and it is true because this is almost close to track 13. And It's definitely one, but it's still one of my favorite songs of the album. I don't know what it is about this song. It just feels to make it just gives me the feeling to make me just want to listen to it and just like just kind of stop and just admire what's going on. And then the album closes with the song Famous Last Words, and just like how the album started with the end is a great opener, and on the flip side, Famous Last Words is a great closer. It feels like a send-off song. This song feels like the patient is finally coming to peace with moving on and accepting death. It's just a masterful way to end the album. I want to close by talking about the upbeat tempo that's prominent throughout most of the tracks on the album. This is definitely thanks to the guitar riffs from Frank Lero and Ray Toro, impacting the whole album in such a great way. Gerald Way's vocals are infectious and wonderful throughout the entire project. And I want to shout out Bob Ryer because he did his damn thing on those drums. And lastly, I can't forget the bass guitar from Mikey Way. Overall, I'm going to give The Black Parade 4.5 stars. Great album, and I definitely want to listen to this again. Now, the next thing I want to review is Inception, directed by the great Christopher Nolan back in 2010. This was just a magnificent first watch, but that's to be expected when watching a Nolan film. This film has Leonardo DiCaprio portraying Dom Cobb as he gathers a group of individuals to do a mental heist of sorts. This film creates and talks about the concept of extractors, people trained to infiltrate dreams and take information to sell to others. Now, the big job for Dom and his crew is to do something that is believed impossible, and that is to implant an idea into the mind of someone so well that they believe that they create the idea in the first place. Hence the title, Inception. Now, this is all going on while Dom has to battle the mental embodiment of the guilt he feels for his dead wife, Mal. Now, the name Mal fits her perfectly because there's nothing but malicious intent when she's on screen. Every time she appears, she is foiling Dom's plans because she knows as much as he knows because she is in his head. He is subconsciously feeding her information, so much so that Dom refuses to use his dreams as a base for the operations. Now, I don't want to go too far in depth with talking about the film because there might be a person that hasn't seen it, or there's going to be people that already seen the film and they've seen all the videos about the different theories that different people have had. But what I want to talk about is the highlights of the film that I got out of. And it'll be wrong of me to act like Leo did this all alone. This cast did a stellar job. Each knew their role and gave 2,000% effort. And I want to start off by talking about Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing Arthur. He got to have a lot of fun with this role, doing almost all of his own stunts. He's also got my favorite scenes in there all together because they're the hallway fight scene that he has, the way that the room is maneuvering and like he has to like fight against the obstacle as he's just like floating. It was just like something that's just been stuck in my head since I seen the film. And then he also got to say the iconic line, dunk him. And then, fun fact, before I seen the movie or even heard about it, I only knew the dunk him line from Lil Wayne's 6 foot, 7 foot music video, which is playing homage to Inception. So it makes perfect sense what's going on in that whole scenario. So, but that's neither here nor there. To get back on track, I want to talk about Marion Cotillard's playing Mal. Her performance was something to behold. She gave Mal so much emotion, so much feeling in the performance, and just like just the look in her eyes, you could just feel the regret, the pain, the envy, the jealousy, the pure sorrow, but also the love she still feels for Dom. And there's just truly some heart wrenching scenes, and there's one scene in particular where just like it feels like a gut punch. The next person I want to talk about is Tom Hardy playing Eames. Now, he was a delight on screen. I don't, have much to say besides the fact that, his accent is hilarious to me, but it kind of fits the character. I don't know why you want the accent, but it makes sense, kind of just one of those cheery type of guys. The last person I wanted to highlight was Elliot Page playing Adrena. Now, the audience could relate to Adrena because she is learning about the world of the film, like just like us, and she needs things to be explained to her just like us because she is out of her element, and without it she will be entirely confused. Now, I feel that this was necessary because without it you wouldn't know what's going on just like her, and that will make the movie kind of terrible. There's a lot of movies that try to keep people in the dark to be too smart and it doesn't work, but you have something that's just like kind of guiding you with the information where you get a grasp of everything, and everything still feels very fresh, feels very brand new. It doesn't feel like nothing out of the ordinary. But some people are mad that they talk a lot, but the talking doesn't outweigh the crazy imagery and scenes that you're getting in this film, which I highly enjoyed the whole time. This is just a beautifully shot film, and this is like easy five. It's probably the easiest five I've ever given off rip. But yeah, Christopher Nolan did such a wonderful job, and there's nothing else I can say. Now, the last thing I want to review for this episode is 2021's Dune, directed by Denis Villeneuve. This film is about the journey of Paul Atreides and how he must face political powers of the universe as he figures out the way of the Freeman on the desert planet Arrakis. Now, the planet may be a desert filled with monstrous worms called the Shah Halud, but Arrakis is seen as the most valuable planet in the universe due to the fact it produces spice. Now, spice is a psychedelic type substance that is valuable not for that attribute, but for the fact that it makes space travel possible. Now, those in charge of spice have a huge amount of power over the rest of the universe. Now, I know that I just said a lot there, but I promise the film makes it easy to understand. As you're watching the movie, the foundation of the world is being made and they explain things as they go. That's all I want to say, and what I will say without spoiling the entire film. I want you all to enjoy it if you haven't yet to see it. The sequel, Dune Part Two, comes out next week, March 1st. Go check it out because I know I will be seeing it, and I can't wait to have those type of conversations about it. But that's neither here nor there. Shameless promo of a great film that's about to release. Now I do want, for a quick second, I do want to talk about something from the film that's not really a spoiler, but it's a huge aspect, and that is the Shah Halud. And what I want to talk about is that it kind of makes me think about the movie Tremors. And to enlighten you all, Tremors is a movie about giant worms that attack this small town, and they're just trying to figure out how to defeat this giant beast. And the reason I'm drawing comparisons is, both of these giant worm like creatures are like kind of like just navigating underground at pretty high speeds. But the only difference between the two is when the graboids of Tremors are about 9 meters in length, the Shah Halud is a whopping 400 meters. So just crazy seeing the difference between two of these like apex like predators maneuver in their respective films, but obviously we know which one is the worser of the two. Now I wanted to get into details that I like about the film. Firstly, the cinematography is superb. Every shot of the scenery looks magnificent. Each shot taken feels important to the film. They go from showing the entire world, the entire landscape of where they're at, and then they can also go into, showing the little niches and intricacies of the House of Atreides home. Uh, as well as I want to talk about the acting. The acting was spectacular. The highlights I want to include are Duke Leto's Atreides, played by Oscar Isaac, Lady Jessica, played by Rebecca Ferguson, Duncan Idaho, played by Jason Momoa, Baron Vladimir Harakin, played by Stellan Skarsgård, and of course Paul Atreides, played by Timothy Chalamet. Now, Timothy brings like this different feeling to Paul, where he feels both stoic and he feels very young, but he has like this thing to him where he feels like you could tell he's going to be the next leader. He has it in him, but he doesn't see it in himself just yet. The next person I have to talk about was Oscar Isaac's performance as Duke Leto. Overall, he just wants to be a great dad, and you can see he all the emotion he's putting into his son as well as into his wife, his lover. He's really just trying to be great to his family while also trying to be a great leader and trying to do what's right. Jason Momoa playing Duncan Idaho, he's like a big brother type character for Paul, and he has his moments where he's trying to be fun, but like when it's time for that action, Duncan is not playing at all. But anytime he's on screen, you're in for a treat to watch. Lady Jessica had a very interesting time on film, and that's because Rebecca Ferguson brought something different to the table with her. She's both like, noble, she's both in two different worlds, but she's still a mother at heart, and she just wants what's best for her son, and she believes what she's done is putting him in position to be like someone great. And then lastly, to talk about key performances was Baron Vladimir Harakin, uh, performed by Stellan Skarsgård. He just feels imposing, disgusting, terrifying. He just like one of those fat rich slobs that be in space movies. But the only difference is he has actual power to back that, and he has the cunningness to move forward with his schemes, and just someone that you have to look out for because of it. Now the last thing I want to talk about that was something of a highlight for me was the score. The score was so insanely good. When the theme hits, it just feels momentous. It just the beat, the loudness, the scream all go through your body. It's just like something's about to go down. And sometimes it's just like on some Lion King type shit where it's like kind of just going over the landscape. And sometimes it's just like right before something goes down and you're just like hyped to hear it. And another theme was Vladimir's theme, and when it hits, you just feel like very villainous vibes coming off. You know something evil's about to go on, and you just like you're just kind of disgusted, but you know it's like some crazy shit's about to happen. And it's like every song matters in this film. Every time something is about to occur, the score knows it has to pick back up and like make the scene 100 times better. So everything is going hand in hand, the imagery as well as the sounds. So all in all, this film was great to watch. My only critique, my only thing that I will say that, and the reason why I have like I know it's good. It felt like a good film, and I told you nothing but good things. But I wish I watched this in 2021. And the reason I say that is if I would watch this in 2021, it would have felt like I'm going to be prepared for the sequel to come. Watching this film, it definitely feels like another film is supposed to happen. And like knowing that the sequel is about to release and watching it before the release is like a week away, it's like there's so many elements where it's like, yeah, no, there's so much more to come. And it's not like it's a bad thing, but like I feel like some movies are better at setting themselves up for what's to come. And this one didn't really feel like it. It really felt like, eh, it just felt like if anyone have seen Across the Spider-Verse, I feel like that was a better setup to the next movie compared to how Dune uh is setting up Dune Part 2. Like it's setting it up, but like it's just I don't know, it feels like a funky start to me. But all in all, this movie is still 4.5 stars, easy. Now I would just like to thank you all for tuning in to another Rorvis Reviews. I'm just really so appreciative and proud of just the last video. I love seeing the likes. I love seeing the video, seeing the comments, the views, the numbers is going up. I know I'm starting off small. I know I'm starting from the bottom, but I'm enjoying the process, regardless of the bumps that may come up along the way. But I totally appreciate your support. So, if you liked what I said in this video, please let me know. If you have some issues or, you want to debate, let me know. Blow up the comment section because those type of intricacies makes my life easier and makes me want to maybe get better at certain aspects, or maybe it's just some fun commentary about things that we like, because everyone likes movies. There's almost no one that doesn't like movies because there's just something that brings us together, seeing other people's ideas come to fruition. So like I said before, if you have any rock albums or albums in general that you want me to check out, please drop them. If you have any movies that you want me to look at, please drop them. I want to be able to absorb as much content that I can so I can be able to produce the type of things that you find interesting and just do a great job talking about them. So again, I would like to thank you all for tuning in to Warvis Reviews, and you'll see me next time.